Welcome back everyone, it's I Fear Yahuwah, and in today's video I'll be going over tech chases and mind games in neutral. Tech chases and mind games are a more advanced aspect of neutral in Naraka. You ever face a really good player and it seems like they know your every move and you can't seem to get a hit in? Well, it's because they are tech chasing defensive dodges and reading your tendencies and capitalizing on them. This video will go over how to do this. Let's start with tech chases. There are two types of tech chases in Naraka: tech chases on wake up and tech chasing dodges. If you ever played fighting games, tech chasing your opponent's wake up is akin to what's called a meaty in fighting games. In the event that you knock down your opponent, you can catch them as they wake up with an attack. There are many instances that you'll put your opponent in a knockdown state. It doesn't necessarily have to be after a combo. Sometimes your opponent can get knocked down by them jumping during neutral and getting hit during the action, or by being grapple stunned while trying to escape. There are other instances, but these two I think are the most common. Your opponent has three wake up options for you to look out for. Option 1 is simply rolling up in any direction. Option 2 is to wake up and hold a focus attack. Option 3 is to roll up and tap dodge after their roll up wake up. Depending on your opponent's wake up choice, you either want to make a well-timed light attack to catch them out of a roll, or do what we call a point 9 to catch them out of their roll up to a tap dodge. A point 9 is holding your focus state and releasing it just before it hits the first stage. The second type of tech chasing is dodge tech chasing. I mentioned in my previous neutral guide video that tap dodging too often can lead to your opponent tech chasing you. Well, this is that. If you have a feeling your opponent is going to tap dodge you, you can tech chase their dodge with a point 9. Let's say for example you caught your opponent with a 1-2 hold check release 3. They're wary of your hold check, so instead of trying to predict your focus attack to parry it, they opt to tap dodge backwards to reset. If we catch wind of this, we can capitalize on the defensive option by tech chasing with a point 9. Tap dodges are not the only dodges that can be tech chased. Hold dodges as well can be tech chased, but in a different sense. Say for example you read that your opponent is hold dodging toward you to cross you up. This maneuver can be caught with a few options. Let's say you throw a light attack and they hold dodge behind you to throw their own light attack. What you do is, after your first light attack, you can hold your second just long enough to armor through their attack and respond back with your own. Now you may be thinking, well, they could just do that themselves, and this is true. You guys could go back and forth through your 1-2-3 combo, and eventually you guys will clank focus attacks. But this scenario sets up the mind games of neutral. It's all about assessing your opponent and looking out for their tendencies and style of fighting. Also, their weapon of choice will play a factor as well, but to simplify things, we'll say both parties have a katana. Now say you think they're going to do the same as you. After their hold dodge light attack, they hold focus to armor your light attack. In theory, you can catch them off guard and fully charge to a first stage focus attack, thus tanking their light attack and responding with the focus of your own. The main goal here is to assess what your opponent is trying to do and capitalize on the correct read, either by catching them in neutral to start a combo or landing a focus attack for big damage. What I'm giving you is a very rudimentary understanding of reading in neutral, because like I stated before, neutral is very nuanced and everyone's neutral is different, so being able to adapt and learn quickly is key. You can practice this in the training room as well. Just use the settings stated before. The bot will attempt to dodge after a 1-2 stagger, and it will use all three dodge types. Focus on the timing like before to catch them. Let's move on to some setups to reading your opponent. The first setup is from, well, a neutral standpoint. Neither you or your opponent has any advantage at the moment. Let's call this the fill them out stage. In the fill them out stage, typically players will begin to hold focus to see how their opponent reacts. Does your opponent retreat? Does he hold his ground? Does he advance forward? Seeing and understanding your opponent's first reaction is critical. It tells a lot about their particular playstyle. We are all human, We all have patterns and tendencies. No one's completely random, so catching on to their pattern early increases your chances of success. So for example, say your opponent sees you begin to hold focus and they choose to dodge at it. If we see and pick up this, we can capitalize on it. What we can do is restart our focus charge and try to predict their dodge with a tech chase and catch them.
No!
You had no chance.
This is one of many options and possibilities that you could take in the fill 'em out stage. So next time you're in customs, play around with this idea and see what you can learn. I guarantee it'll be enlightening. But let's move on to another type of setup. This next setup in particular is when you have advantage on your opponent. Like I explained before, after a 1-2 stagger, this sets up a mind game situation. Since your opponent has options after a 1-2 stagger, how they react after they get hit will tell you about how they fight and give you information on what to do next. Say for example, you land a 1-2 stagger. Does your opponent parry anticipating a 3? Do they hold or tap dodge away? Do they begin to hold focus to gain armor for the next attack, or just throw a focus? Do they use their skill to break away? This right here is very important because if you're fighting a very habitual opponent, you could possibly loop them continuously with their offense, never giving them a chance to retaliate and force them to use skill or ultimate abilities. The main thing I hope you guys take away from this video is learning to see opportunities when to read and learning to be unpredictable, to mix up your offensive and defensive options to stay unpredictable. This will take some time. You'll have to train your eyes to pick up on things and to also assess your own failures. You should be asking yourself questions like, why can't I catch them? Or why do I keep getting caught? When and where was I caught? And what could I have done differently? Please do not get caught up in only focusing on combos. If you win a fight by simply frying your opponent with focus attacks, that is still a win. Sometimes the pretty flashy way isn't the way to win. If you see no opening and all you can do is focus attack, then do it. You take what is offered and you use it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope you learned something from it. Share this knowledge with your friends and any new players you may come across. I could care less about views. I just want our community to get better and help ease the growing pains of new players. Till next time everyone. Peace.